says the everlasting argument of using meta versus sticking to what you're comfortable with. The age-old debate, comfort over meta. What are you picking?
There's no reason you should be uncomfortable with a meta gun. Let's start there. That doesn't make sense. Every meta gun is meta because it's one, broken. It's like the DMR or something from Verdansk, or it's incredibly easy to use, or both. That's why it's meta. So how can you not be comfortable with that? If every other player in the game is doing really well with it and they're comfortable with it because it's busted OP, why would you be using something that's not meta and purposely putting yourself at a disadvantage to use a gun that you think you're comfortable with? You're thinking wrong if that's the case, Bates. Every meta gun you should and can easily be comfortable with, I promise you. Yeah. If you use the XM4 right now, because the XM4 is the best AR in the game, by the way, and you should never use MW3 ARs, put that one on TikTok. Use that new stock, that buffer tube stock. It reduces the recoil by like 60%, the horizontal recoil. It's like 60%, 40%, something like that. It's insane now. It's much better. The gun feels a lot better than it did a week ago. So, you know, the guns are meta for a reason and you can be comfortable with it. I think you'd be a lot more comfortable with an 8 attachment XM4, if I had to guess, I'm just guessing, than you would with a 2 attachment Tonto in Warzone, if I had to guess. Even though you think you're more comfortable with the Tonto, you're not, okay? So use the meta gun. It's meta for a reason. It's really good. It's easy to use. Just use it and get comfortable with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So we talked about this before, and I'll say it again because it's been a while since I've said it. There is like a subset of people who play COD or any game who will play like PvP, like competitively, and they will on purpose use something off meta or not optimal. And they will do that so that when they don't win the game or they don't do well, they have a psychological defense as to why they didn't win. So it's like, oh, okay, I'm using the the Goblin Mark II right now on Area 99. And I just got fucking spit on hard, really bad. And then you die and you kind of smile, you smirk and you fart and then sniff your own fart and you say, well, that guy's a meta slave. He was using an XM4. That's the only reason I lost that gunfight, because I'm not a meta slave like he is. And the reason you're doing that, and deep down you know that why this is why you're doing that, is because in reality, if you were also using an XM4, that guy still would have fucking spit on you because you're not that good. He's better than you. Oh,
wow. Yeah.
But to protect yourself and your ego, psychologically, you will purposely sabotage yourself so that when you do get spit on, you don't have to be confronted with the fact that you are not, in fact, as good as you think you are. And you could just blame using a goblin instead. Here's my advice to you. Stop it. Grow up, be an adult. Here's the thing, man. There are better players than you. I don't care what gun you're using, and I don't care who you are listening to this. Unless Biffle's here listening to this, and I don't think Biffle's a patron, we would have let you guys know, then I can tell all of you beyond the shadow of a doubt, there are better players than you, okay? And using a goblin doesn't change that. So just use the meta guns so that you win way more gunfights, you have more fun, and then sometimes you'll get spit on anyways. But you know what? Call of Duty isn't everything, and you could be like, well, that guy's better than I am. Or he's cheating, actually. So whatever, one of the two. Use there are cheaters as your psychological defense mechanism instead, actually. That would be my advice. That's what I do. If someone kills me, they're not better than I am. They're cheating. Be a normal person, but this way you'll do much, much better and you will have more fun. And by the way, you'll improve at the game this way. Because if you're using shit that is not good at all, you're going to lose gunfights that you would have actually otherwise won if you had a meta gun. And then you could start to really learn when you lose a gunfight with a meta gun, why you lost it. And then you can start getting better. And then it's just a compounding effect of having more fun. You have more fun because you're using a meta gun, because you're getting more kills, and then you're learning more because you're learning using a meta gun. And then you're going to get even more kills because now you're getting better because you're actually improving and you're not gimping yourself by using the tier with akimbo tier or something, right? And then and then again, it's just a compounding spiral of fun. Now, you don't have to use like the XM4 specifically as an example right now. Like, yeah, you can use an XM4. In my opinion, you could use an MW3 AR still, and that would be competitive enough. Even if you disagree with that, you could use like the GPR 91. That's like meta enough. But like be in the A tier. Ideally be in the S tier, but be in the A tier at least of like guns. So that you will have more fun, trust me. You just have to get over this hurdle you have. That's actually why most people do this. I don't think you do that for this reason, by the way, Bates, you specifically. You're on your own shit, and that's cool. And if you have fun, that's fine. But I guarantee you'd have more fun using guns that are actually good. I promise. Yeah.
He gets wins somehow. He does it, but
he does get wins. Yes. How many more wins would he get if he was using good weapons, though? Lots more. Obviously, do whatever is fun for you. If the reason you're not using meta stuff isn't because you have this psychological hurdle, and you have to be honest with yourself to think of whether that's true or not, then, I mean, it's a video game. Use whatever you want, obviously. But you're generally going to have more fun using meta guns. They're meta for a reason. And that's back to what Tanner said. Almost every meta weapon ever that's been meta for longer than about a week has been meta precisely because of how easy to use they are. That's what makes them meta.
Yeah.
Like, so when you say there is some other gun that you're more comfortable with, what are you more comfortable with than an XM4 with the buffer weight stock on it? I mean, the thing doesn't move and it handles fine and it reloads fine, and you could put a 100-round mag in it. What is there to be uncomfortable with here? I don't know.
I know, right?
Like, what is there? It fires bullets automatically, and it does it at a pretty high fire rate in the case of the XM4 right now. Things are meta usually almost always because they are easy to be comfortable with.
Yeah.
I can think of a few exceptions, like the AUG meta that lasted a long time, and that I could see people being uncomfortable with, but it was so busted OP that even if you were uncomfortable with it, you'd still do better with it than anything else. Same with the other burst fire gun at that time. It was the AUG and the
M16.
M16, that's right. Yeah.
Fun meta.
That was a fun
meta. I like
meta.
that one. With the sniper scope before they fixed all the Cold War 3x optics that were zooming 8x. Ooh, that was fun.
Yeah. But it's like, again, there's a reason that the man, I forget what it's called. There was an LMG with an insane fire rate in MW19.
The MG82 or something
I believe
like that?
that's what it was. It had the fastest time to kill on paper of every gun that was not a sniper by a lot. Why wasn't it meta? Because it was really hard to use. Impossible to use, actually. Like, even if you were really good, it just recoiled too much. You couldn't use it. So it wasn't meta, even though it had an insane fire rate and an insane time to kill. And the only reason it wasn't meta, again, is because it's not easy to be it's impossible to be comfortable with that gun. So this is a false dichotomy, is the TLDR. Like, comfort over meta is kind of a bullshit dichotomy that doesn't really exist. I can't think of a meta ever where there was a compelling argument to use something not meta because you weren't comfortable with it. Get comfortable with it. Yeah. If you're comfortable with any gun, you'll be comfortable with the meta gun. Like, it's really genuinely that simple.
Yeah, like people will bring up an argument like when two guns are meta, say like AMAX, Kilo, or like Grau, something like that.
Right.
But that's different because those are both meta for slightly different reasons. They're both really, really good. It just depends which one, in that case, you are more comfortable with. But generally, does not happen often. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the key point there is, like you said, they are both meta. So it's like, if they're both meta, then use what you're more comfortable with, obviously.
Yeah. But there's your answer. Yeah.
But it's not a difference between meta and comfort in that case. Yeah. So anyway.